All right, good morning and welcome to Beitzah Daf Yutet, Beitzah number 19. Um, Today is Sunday before Sukkot. Hope everyone got the Daled Minim. Shmuel, did you get your Daled Minim yet?
I don't know.
Here comes Shmuel. Telling you, our ratings were going down without Shmuel.
That's not too far down, that's for sure.
Do you know what? Shmuel knows the facts. He knows that the ratings are not so high to begin with, but they're even lower without you. So, instead of getting 2 million household views, we're getting 1.5 household million views. Yeah. It's actually, I didn't tell you, over the weekend we actually transitioned to television.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're a TV show now.
Oh, that's
Because
great.
we're 30 minutes, we fit it perfectly into the sitcom,
I see.
place
I see.
on the schedule, on the docket.
Nice.
So we're there. We're on
That's
TV.
good. That's very nice.
8:30 Thursday nights.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's exactly. I think 8 o'clock was Seinfeld,
Oh.
or 8:30, or one better than Seinfeld. We're getting good ratings so far. Our first couple of shows we got 2 million views, then you dropped out, so we're down to 1.5 million views, 1.5 households. That means households could have many people. They could have Haredi households could have 10 people, 10, 15 people in them. So a lot of our views are coming from the Haredi household. All the television sets in a Haredi household that no one knows about. Where do the Haredim keep their TV? Which room do they put it in?
Yeah, why?
In the bathroom, right? They have it in the
I don't think
bathroom.
anybody has
Not in the
TV.
bathroom. They have it. They have it in the merpaset, which they closed off. And nobody knows they closed it off. Chuck. No, Haredi household. If Haredim would have TVs, I'm telling you, this would be prime time. Our show would be prime time if they had. Most Haredim don't have TVs.
That's right.
But if they had, so then we would have at least 2 million views for sure. You know how many Haredim there are in the world, Shmuel?
No idea.
How many Haredim do you think are in Israel?
I have no idea.
You know the population in Israel?
No.
9.3 million people.
Wow, that's a lot.
Do you know how many Haredim there are?
Not too many.
Haredim make about 12% of the population.
Oh, that's a lot.
So instead of being, there are around a million Haredim in Israel. It's a lot, right?
It's a lot.
America, how many Haredim there are? There's no Haredim in America. There's yeshivish people in America, right? It's yeshivish, right? You know the conversion rate. Haredi becomes yeshivish in America. And Datilum in Israel becomes what in America? Modern Orthodox. And Masorati, traditional, in Israel becomes what in America?
I don't know.
Conservative.
Conservative.
Like Donald Trump, conservative. He's a conservative politician. He's not a Jew. But he has a Jew, his son-in-law is Jewish. Anyway, it's not really important, but just trying to tell you that Judaism is distinctly different in America and in Israel. But I'll tell you, I guarantee you that if we were running a TV show, I'm telling you, we would get equal viewership both in Israel and America because we appeal to a broad range. For example, you are Haredi and I'm Yeshivish, right? Because I have a smartphone. You don't have a smartphone. So you're a real Haredi. You're a real Haredi. You listen to all the rules. You don't have a smartphone. I have a smartphone, so I'm Yeshivish. There are Yeshivish people that have smartphones. A lot of them, even in BMG, I'm told. But in Israel, it's forbidden, right? You want to hear a shot? I want to say it. I don't know if I should say this on camera. What do you think? Should I say this or not? Kol Nidre. What is Kol Nidre all about? We just talked about Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre Vesare. This kid looking at me like I'm Helfgott over here. Ben Sion Muller. Right? I sound like Helfgott? Yeah? Kol Nidre Vesare V'charame V'kinume. Anyway, what's the point of saying Kol Nidre? You wear your talis, and the only time of the year you wear talis at night, right? What is the whole significance? It's the most sublime time to be a Jew. Kol Nidre. It's the holiest time. We take out the Sifrei Torah. Everyone walks around. We kiss Sifrei Torah. What is Kol Nidre all about? It's not even a chiyuv to say it. Do you know? He doesn't know. What is Kol Nidre about? What is it about? What's a neder? Neder is when you ask her davar mutter, right? The Gemara says in the Dorim, call a noder kilu. It's like he builds a bama, own a bama. Call a makaimo kilu makra. And he was makayim and neder. He doesn't mavatla. He doesn't matir his neder. It's like he was what? It's like he's makayim. It's like he's makriv on the bama. Now, like makriv on a bama, we learn from Shimshon Pincus. His Asar is a Jew. So when you take a neder, when you ask yourself things that are really mutter, that's one of the worst things in Judaism. It's clear from Kol Nidre. One of the worst things in Judaism, especially when you're wearing talisim. At times when you're wearing talisim, you shouldn't make darim, and maybe in Yavin, and you shouldn't make darim by yourself. So that is the worst form. The holiest thing is not to make darim. Kedusha, to enjoy the world, not to make darim, not to ask yourself davar mutter lo. With that, we'll begin today's shir.
Okay, let's go.
What does it say out of 50, 26? What does that mean? Oh, I only have a certain amount of memory left on my camera. Wow. All right, I have to start deleting stuff. All right. So the Gemara says, Tana Rabbana, Kli Yed Amid Aleph. Tana Rabbana, Kli Shneim on Erev Yom Tov, Eima Bilano So Ben Hashmashos. A Kli that became Tamei on Erev Yom Tov. You can't be matbil it. You can't be told on the mikvah. Ben Hashmashos. Why? Because Ben Hashmashos is Safik Yom, Safik Laila, and therefore it's really considered Safik Yom Tov. And we know in the Mishnah, you're not, whatever reason, 4 reasons, you're not allowed to be tovel on Yom Tov. Since you're not allowed to be tovel on Yom Tov, so therefore, Ben Hashmashos is also aser because it's Safik Yom Tov. Now, I have a question for you, Shmuel. Since it's only Darabanan anyway, right? The reason is most assume you're misaking kli midarabanan. So suffix ben hashmash is a suffix. So suffix darabanan we should go to kula and we should allow him to use it. It's a good question, right?
Right.
Why can't you do it? That's why the Gemara says ein mavdil ben hashmashos. It's talking about lechatchila. You're not matbil ben hashmashos. B'diavad, if you were matbil it, this is Enoch ben Sion. Introduce the music. Enoch ben Sion. Anyway, this is the answer to the question. The question was, right, the suffix around the kula. That we said around the kula is only din b'diavad. We don't rely on it lechatchila. And if you can't be tovel it ben hashmashos, but b'diavad, if you were tovel ben hashmashos, you could use it on Yom Tov. Even during the week, you can't be tovel ben hashmashos. So this is our sarach harav shemesh because Rabbi use a kli that's real tumah. We're not talking about tumah that was made by a goy. We're talking about tumah at the time of the Beitzah Mikdash. So you need harav shemesh. You need to be tovel, and then you need the sun to set. If you tovel it after the sun began setting already, then you don't have a harav shemesh. So therefore, we're worried. We're stopping a person being tovel ben hashmashos because he might use it at night already because he'll think he'll have harav shemesh. He didn't have harav shemesh. Tanakama lo boy harav shemesh. Tanakama is only Rosh Hashanah Zuri. Tanakama doesn't need harav shemesh. I'm a Rava. Ashichininu the Rabbanan the Beira. I found the Talmidim of Rav's yeshiva. The Yasiv Kamri of Machshavas and Nikaret B'Zach Ma'asav Kamifli. We're arguing. The machlokes is between what do you what can we assume the person's das is, the person's machshava is, the person's thoughts are from what he's doing, from the fact that he's running. It's not talking about he's walking to the mikvah, he's running to the mikvah ben hashmashos. To be tovel is clear. Marsavar hide the karoi va'azil made the yad the bayer of shemesh. The one who holds Rosh Hashanah holds that he's planning on doing harav shemesh. That's why he's running. He's trying to get there before Ben Hashmashos starts. And once he realizes Ben Hashmashos, he was tovel Ben Hashmashos, he's not going to use it till the next night. Marsavar machmas malach to hudikaroy. Tanakam holds he's running because he has things to do. He's a very busy guy. He's running. He has no idea about harav shemesh, and therefore we're worried he's going to think that he had harav shemesh, or he's not going to care about harav shemesh. He's going to use it that night. That's why we stop. When I said to them, when I heard this explanation, everyone agrees that if we see the guy running, we can assume that he's trying to do it. He knows the halachas. He's trying to do a harav shemesh, and he realized he'll find out, he won't use it that night. Lo pli, what's the machlok? Just go in the itbi v'pachos mikadasha, where we know the kli became tameh less than a dasha. In order for a kli to become tameh from the shmona shratzim, it needs to have the shear, a carcass of 8 rodents. The Torah conducts tumah. They have to be the size of the body of the carcass. Has to be at least a kadash, a lentil seed. Pachos mikadasha. So the kli became tameh from a piece of carcass which is less than an adasha. Ilo. He comes to the Rabbanan and he asks them, is it tameh if it touched pachos mikadasha? Now the answer is it's not tameh. But he shows that he's an Amma Aris because he doesn't know the answer to this question. Marsavar, Hahu de lo Gomer, Harav Shemesh Gomer. Midhalo Gomer, Harav Shemesh Nami lo Gomer. The Rabbanan hold that because he doesn't know about Adasha, so therefore, Shemesh Zuri says that you can't use it because he doesn't know about this. He also doesn't know about Harav Shemesh, and therefore we're worried about that. Marsavar, the Rabbanan hold Hahu de lo Gomer, he doesn't know about that side of Adasha. That's a hard halacha to know about. Harav Shemesh Gomer, if he's running, we assume he knows about Harav Shemesh, and therefore we know if he realizes he was told Ben Hashmash, he's not going to use it till the following night. Not that night. Madbil Megav Lagav. The Mishnah says you can be told from one account, from one purpose to another purpose. I don't want a case of Megav Lagav. Wrote to the Asas Gito Algav Kado. What is the case? The case is he wants to. Gito is an olive press. A wine press. And originally he intended to use it just to make a jar of olive oil, kado, or it could be bado. Bado's an olive press, kado, a flask of oil. He intended to be tovel when he had das, when he was tovel the kli, he wants to use it to make oil. And then he changed his mind and he decided I'm going to use it for my wine press. I want to make wine. So he did it for one purpose, another purpose. Halacha is that even if you have a mind to use it for one purpose, it's valid with the evid for the other purpose. And now he's on Yom Tov, he's doing another tefillah. He wants to be machmir himself. He's violating Kol Nidrei V'Sarei V'Charamei V'Kinuyei. Telling you, one day I'm going to be the new health guy. I'm telling you, health guy, you better watch your back. Ben Sealang is coming and take over. I'm going to be the quick canter. The canter who doesn't drag it on for 16 hours. The canter who gets you a good couple of pieces, you know. I go, say the rest very quickly, right? I give him a little cantorial expertise, a little pitch, a little melody, and then we move on. So you get both the best of the both worlds. You get a quick davening, plus you get my tenor voice, right? I'm working on a tenor voice. I don't have a tenor voice right now, but one day I get. You know what a tenor voice is?
No.
Tenor is the highest pitched voice of a male. You know what the highest pitched voice of a female is?
No.
That's good you don't know. It's good you don't listen to women singing. Soprano. Heard a soprano? The Sopranos show. Soprano is the highest pitched voice of a woman. And who has a higher pitch? Women or men?
Women.
Yeah, right. You know this stuff. So apparently Shmuel has in a different lifetime listened to non-Jewish, to women singing Jewish music. His wife sings for him. I don't know. But daughters, they sing. You've heard women sing, right? I see you wouldn't know the answer to that question. Fine. So he doesn't have to do that. So it's not a requirement. So he's machmer upon himself. So it's not really a halach tefillah. So therefore, he can do it on Yom Tov, even though normally you're not allowed to be told on Yom Tov. This he could do on Yom Tov. Michabur lechabur. Case of michabur lechabur. What's chabur lechabur? Yochal michabur zever. What's lechabur michabur acheres? Or just be other. He's being told about kalim on the Korban Pesach. He has in mind to eat with one group, one chabur. He's supposed to eat your Korban Pesach with a group of people. He'd be told about his kalim to eat with one chabur, and he changed his mind and he wants to eat with another chabur. So even though his tevilah of the kalim was done al das one chabur, he doesn't really have to be tovel again to eat with a second chabur. He wants to be makbar on himself. That tevilah is not necessary. You can do that on Yom Tov. It's not accomplishing anything. It's not masakin mana. Not a problem. Mishnah. Beishamai Yom Mevin Shlamim Vein Som Kalenim Alo Olos. Beishamai says you can bring korban shlamim on Yom Tov. In Som Kalenim. You can't be smicha. Smicha is a problem because you're leaning on an animal. It's like riding on an animal, or afraid you ride on an animal, you're gonna take a branch and you start whipping the animal to run faster. Like the horse racing. You know, what are the 3 races of the Triple Crown? You know this?
What?
You don't know any of the 3 races? Come on. One is the Derby. Where is the Derby? Which state is it? Come on, get this. Come on. Come on. The three legs of the Triple Crown. You don't know this? Thoroughbred racing, horse racing, the highest form of horse racing in the world, in America. Come on. Kentucky Derby is the first one. What's the second one? The Preakness. What's the third one? It's in New York. Belmont. Belmont. What's it called?
Belmont.
Belmont Stakes.
No.
You didn't know that. Who was the last horse to win the Triple Crown? He won all 3 races in the same year.
Sandersky.
It was the name of a king in Mitzrayim.
Pharaoh.
Right, American Pharaoh. Right. I mean, like 6-7 years ago. I remember when he won. All right. Now that we've done horse racing, there's nothing to do with you don't bring horses like carbon, but you could bring a shlamim. But in some chalin, you can't be some mechalim. But Shammai allows you to bring a shlamim because people partake of a shlamim and you do shchita. You offer a shlamim. Part of it goes like a part of it goes to the owners. They eat it. So therefore, it's a sarach yom tov, and the shchita is ochal nefesh. Avalo olo. So you can't bring an ola because the ola you're not benefiting. It goes up to shamayim. A person's not benefiting from it. So Beitzah omrim mavin shlamim olo to some kalam. Beitzah says you could bring both shlamim and ola. So you can be a smicha. It's not a problem. Smicha because you're doing it for the purpose of a korban. The korban has to be brought today. We're talking about. We'll see what type of shlamim and olas we're talking about. If it's chovas hayom, or is it talking about even a darim and a davos, things which are not mechuyev to bring during the day? Amar ula machlokes b'shalmei chagiga. Ula says the machlokes is shalmei chagiga, which is a chiyuv. You have a chiyuv to bring an olas re'iyah, and a shalmei chagiga, which is a shlamim, which is brought for the yom tov, lismoch, to be somech. But olas re'iyah lekariv, and olas re'iyah to be brought as a korban to be shamei tzarich hagosim chag Hashem. You should bring chagiga l'Hashem. Chagiga, olas re'iyah lo. It says you should bring chagosem. It's lashon chagiga. You should bring the chagiga. Shalmei chagiga, yes. And you see that in olas re'iyah, no. The pasuk, even though really you might think maybe it should be mutter, the pasuk forbids you to bring it all the way. Selos avri l'Hashem, called l'Hashem. The reason they allow olos, even though it's not ochal nefesh for you, but even it says called l'Hashem, it's a reborn in the pasuk. So even for Hashem, it's considered ochal nefesh. It's your tzorech. About Nadarim and Nadavos, I call incredible. The Ula holds, Beitzah would agree that Nadarim and Nadavos, things which you pledge, you make a voluntary pledge to bring a korban. So incredible beyond. You can't bring those on Yom Tov because they don't have to be brought during that day. There's no heter from the pasuk. Even if it's a shlamim, incredible beyond. Mesi a raya from the Beitzah against it. I'm Rishon and Lazar. Nechtu beisham Beitzah ola shein eshal Yom Tov shein incredible Yom Tov. If it's an ola. The Narm and Davos, it's not supposed to be brought on Yom Tov, it does not brought on Yom Tov. Al Shlam Shein Shal Yom Tov Shkreim Yom Tov. Shammai even agrees that Shlamim, like Shalmei Chagiga, could be brought on Yom Tov. Amanech, we call Ola Shehi Shal Yom Tov, Al Shlam Shein Shal Yom Tov. And Ola, that is the Ola Suriyah. Al Shlam Shein Shal Yom Tov, Shlamim which are in Darm and Davos. Bei Shammai Omrim Lo Yavi. So Omrim Yavi, they still hold. We see from the Beitzah, according to the Shimon and Lazar, they can bring an ola, a shlamim that is in Darim and Davos. So you see clearly from the Beitzah, and this is the only Beitzah we really know until this point that's clear about this. The mission is not clear, that you could bring in Darim and Davos according to Beis Hillel. So the answer is Tarz ve'emo. You have to answer for ula haki amar Rabbi Yochanan Hashem Elazar Nechlu b'Sham Beis Hillel ola shlam she'ein shel Yom Tov she'ein krev Yom. They have to fix it on the lashon. Everyone agrees all the shlamim that are not for Yom Tov, the Darim Davos, you don't bring on Yom Tov. Shlamim she'ein shel Yom Tov she'krev Yom Tov. Shalmei chagiga, which is for Yom Tov, you could bring on Yom Tov. Amanech, called ola she'ein shel Yom Tov. On the ola carbon olish, which I'm omrim lo yavi. We say omrim yavi, which is basically machlokes in our Mishnah. It seems to be machlokes in our Mishnah. Of Yosef Amar to fit with Ula. Yosef Amar Tanai Shakal Ma'alma. You're removing a Tanaic opinion from the world. Shimon Lazar said like it sounds like he said. We don't have to fix up what he says. There's really another Tana who holds like Ula. Tanaihi Tanya. Shlamim Habayi Machmas Yom Tov B'Shamay Omrim Somech Alein Amer of Yom Tov V'Shochem Yom Tov. If you have shlamim, like a shalmei chagiga. So you do smicha erev Yom Tov. You can't do smicha on Yom Tov according to Beit Shammai. And you actually shach on Yom Tov. But so omrim somech alem Yom Tov. You can do smicha. But shach on Yom Tov. And you could shach on Yom Tov. Well, on the Darim Medavos, Devrei Hakol ain't craving Yom Tov. This price is exactly like Ula. And the Darim Medavos you don't bring on Yom Tov according to Beis Hillel. Now the Gemara is going to bring other Beitzah that shows again we have a similar machlokas whether the Darim Medavos are craving Yom Tov according to Beis Hillel. Hani Tanai ki Hani Tanai. The following Tanaim are like the previous Tanaim. You don't bring a carbon toda. Carbon toda is in Darim Medavos. The carbon toda is brought right when you go through a traumatic experience. So you go on an airplane, you cross a river, cross an ocean, or you get a Be'asurim, you get a jail. Other things you bring it for. It's in Darim Medavos. You can't bring it on matzahs because one of the breads are actually chametz. You can't bring it on Pesach because chametz is usher to own. Nechametz shabbat, but lo b'atzeres. You can't bring it on Shavuos. Neishu Yom Tov. Shavuos is there's no chol hamoed on Shavuos, right? And you can't bring korban. We're going to see you can't bring according to this Tanakama. You can't bring a darim medavos on Yom Tov. Well, maybe Adam Chavaso Todaso b'chag Sukkos. On Sukkos you can bring it. We're going to see because it's a chol hamoed. You could during Sukkos. So you can bring it on Chol HaMoed, which is not a violation of bringing a Darim Medavos. Even the Manda, the Beitzah says that Beis Hillel doesn't allow a Darim Medavos on Yom Tov. They allow it on Chol HaMoed. Rav Shimon argues on the Tanakama. It says in the pasuk, it says all these the three regal in the pasuk. Kol Shabbat, so it's Joshua. Kol Shabbat b'chag hamatzos, ba b'chag hashuos b'chag hasukos. Well, Kol Shalom ba b'chag hamatzos. Seemingly, the Gemara understands this to mean that because you can't bring toda on Pesach because of the chametz, you can't bring it on Sukkot also. We're going to see the explanation of this. As Rabbi Shimon Omer, a third opinion, maybe Adam todaso b'chag Sukkos v'yotze b'yidei chavasu b'nei simcha ein yotze b'mishum chagiga. Then Rabbi Shimon says, seemingly like the Tanakama, that you can bring the toda on Sukkot during Chol HaMoed, and yotze yechova, seemingly like Chol HaMoed, mishum simcha and yotze b'mishum chagiga. There's another halacha we're going to see that there's a concept called davar shebachova in a bal min achulin. Any korban which is a chova, which you're obligated to bring, it has to come from chulin, from something which is not a previous korban for something else. So here you establish your makdish will shem toda. So you can only use it for simcha because shalmi simcha. There's no chiyuv to bring a shalmi simcha. It's mitzvah to eat shalmi simcha to be sameach b'yom tov. So therefore, when you're makdish it as the toda, you can use it for the meat of shlam, for the meat of shalmi simcha, but you can't use the shalmi chagiga because that's a din, and you have to be makriv, you have to be makdish shalmi chagiga. It's a different halacha. Amar Amar, ein mavian. We're going to analyze the brayse. Ein mavian toda b'chag hamatzos chametz shabbat. She is obvious. You can't bring it as chametz. Amar Rada Barei Rav Yitzchak. Amar Lash Rav Shmuel Barabba. Haka bar basar. Here we're talking about bringing the korban toda on your dalit, which is not Pesach. You can bring it before chatzos. Chatzos is usher to own chametz already. So therefore, if you bring it before chatzos, you're not going to have time to eat all the bread and to eat the meat of the korban. So therefore, since you don't bring kachim where they can't be eaten, there's an isser, there's a machlokas about that. This kind of holds you don't bring kachim based up stool, you can't eat it. So therefore, you can't even bring it on your dalit. Lo b'atzeres, meishu yom tov. You can't bring it on shulos because it's yom tov. Kasavar and Darim Davos ain't craving Yom Tov, like Ula. The Darim Davos, even Beis Hillel holds, you can't bring on Yom Tov because it's not the time for them. Aval maybe, and the reason is because Ochel Nefesh is mutter only if you couldn't have done it before Yom Tov. You could have done it before Yom Tov. Like in Darim Davos, I could have brought it before Yom Tov, so then I can't bring it on Yom Tov. That's a basic klal of Ochel Nefesh. It's the Chuya, not Hutra. Whoever knows what that means. Obviously, spend a lot of time in a shir with a big Rosh Hashiva. If you don't know what it means, one day you'll learn about it. You can get the Yevamos, we'll discuss it more. Maybe Adam Todos b'chag Sukkos, but he kept bringing chazuz emas. When are we talking about? Ilay when we Yom Tov Asma. We're talking on the actual Yom Tov of Sukkos, Amrad, Velobat, Sukkot, Atzeres, and the issue Yom Tov. Can't bring on Shavuos because it's Yom Tov. You can't bring on the first day of Sukkot also. Ella b'chol shal moed. Talking about chol moed. Shimon Omer, the second opinion, Omer b'chag hamatz b'chag Shavuos b'chag Sukkos. Kol sheba b'chag hamatz b'chag Sukkos Shavuos b'chag Sukkos. Kol shelo ba b'chag hamatz zayru ba b'chag Shavuos b'chag Sukkos. That's basically what he says. Maskei Flo Rabbi Zera asked a question on this opinion of Rabbi Shimon. Hasha slusei misal sinan on chol moed is explicit allowance the Gemara talks about. You're allowed to uproot wood from the ground and gather wood. This is part of Ma'amir, also codes there. You got to do malacha on Chol HaMoed. Darwin Survive. Certainly you're right that bringing Darwin Davos. What Chiddush is he telling me? Why can't you bring the Darwin Davos on Sukkot? Right? This carbon told why can't everyone on Sukkot? Just because it's you can't bring in a Chag Matzah, so therefore you can't bring it on Sukkot. It doesn't make any sense. What kind of Josh is this? I want to buy it. Everyone agrees technically you could bring it. This quote of Reb Shimon is talking about another Isser. Balta Acher is when you pledge a korban to the Beitzah Mikdash, right? You have 3 regalim to bring it, right? So how does this 3 regalim work out? Is it 3 regalim from when you pledge the korban, or is it 3 regalim considered? Or the third opinion, we'll see how you calculate this. Tanakama Savar, he holds this for Balta Acher Shalosh Regalim Amerachman Afilu Shalo Considered. Right? The way you calculate it is, let's say you pledged it after Pesach. So you have Shavuos, Sukkot, and then Pesach, 3 regalim, even if it's not Kesidron, right? Kesidron starts from Pesach, and then Pesach is the Rosh Hashanah of the year for the Karbanos. Shimon Savar Kesidron. Shimon holds, no, you need Kesidron. So therefore, if you donated the Karban, you pledged the Karban after Pesach, so therefore, not only you have that Shavuos and that Sukkot, but you have also the following year, you have 3 more Yom Tovim, you have to the following Sukkot. So you have 2 Sukkot to bring it. So that's what he says. He's saying, right, his Chiddush is that you don't have to bring it. Technically, you could bring it on Sukkot. So you don't have to bring it until the next Sukkot, because you're not going to be over in Baal Ta'akim. But technically, you would agree that you could bring it on Chol HaMoed. No one's going to agree you can't bring it on Chol HaMoed. His whole drasha was only talking about Baal Ta'akim. Rabbi Lezer Reb Shimon Omer maybe on the B'Chag HaSukkos. He says you bring a Chag HaSukkos. Ey Mazilim B'Chol Rosh HaMoed Hainu Tanakama. That's Tanakama. El B'Yom Tov must be Rabbi Lezer Reb Shimon sold B'Yom Tov, because Savar Darmi Davos craving B'Yom Tov. He holds Darmi Davos craving B'Yom Tov. This is kind of obvious because we had a Beitzah also on Daf Yoteram and Aleph, which seemingly said Rabbi Lezer Reb Shimon. It says Reb Shimon and Elazar. That's Reb Shimon and Elazar. This is Rabbi Lezer Reb Shimon. Okay, so 2 different Tanaim, but they both hold that Darvin Daros could be craving on Yom Tov. Why do you say Chag HaSukkos? You could have said Atzeres also on Shavuos, because you can bring on Yom Tov. Reb Shimon the time May is going according to reasoning, his own reasoning. The sign Reb Shimon Omer LaYomer Chag HaSukkos Shavuos Kosam Adaber Lama Nemar. When the pasuk says Chag HaMatzos, Chag HaShuos, Chag HaSukkos, it's all about the Acher. It didn't have to say Chag HaSukkos because the pasuk was already previously talking about Chag HaSukkos. Why did it mention Chag HaSukkos a second time? Lomer Shezeh Achron. Lezer Reb Shimon Omer Lomer Shezeh Goren. Tanakama holds that it's the last one. Lezer Reb Shimon holds that, and when it comes to Baal Ta'acher, the third shita, the Baal Ta'acher, is always Sukkot. So if you pledge a korban right before Sukkot, you have to bring in that Sukkot. You only have 1 regel. Normally you have 3 regalim if you pledge it before Pesach. You pledge it before Sukkot, so then you only have 1 regel to bring it. And that's what Rabbi Shimon means, Chag HaSukkos. Another halacha that you can be yotzei with the korban toda, you can be yotzei simcha and not mishum chagika. Pshita, darash b'chovahu, v'chol darash b'chova yedabal min achul. Shalmi chagika is a chova min Torah, so it has to come from chulin. It can't be when you're makdish the toda, it's already not chulin anymore. L'shricha afagav the parish, The b'amini rishim min lakshan Rabbi Yochanan. Omer arei alai toda eitz b'yedei chagika. Here, when he's makdish the toda, he says I'm being makdish the toda, and I'm going to, at the same breath, he says I'm going to be yotzei my shalmei chagiga with it. So you might think that even though kol davar shebachol and abalim and achulim, but here when he's makdish it, he's telling you what he's going to do with it. Or he says harini nazir. Alternatively, he says I'm going to be a nazir by galech and ma'os ma'ishasheni. When you finish your nazir, you have to bring certain karbanos. So you're going to bring the karbanos from money that I use for ma'aser sheni. Ma'aser sheni is money, the 33rd, and they're in the 1, 2, 4, and 5 years. Of the Shemitah cycle, and you have to bring to Yerushalayim and eat there. So I'm going to use that money to buy the karbanos for my Nazirus. He says it in the same breath as when he's Nazir. Mao. Does it work? I'm really Nazir Ve'ena Yotzei, Nazir Ve'ena Galech. He says it doesn't work. It's a neder, meaning it's a carbon toda, but he can't use the money, he can't use the carbon for Shalmi Chagiga. And he's come to Nazir, and Galech. He can't use the most for Ma'aser Sheni to be Yotzei as carbon Nazirus. We did another half an hour. Shmuel, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm expecting 3 million viewers tomorrow on the Haredi television system. I was heard inside information, 1 million Haredim are buying TVs just to watch our show. Great. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.